The ranking update landed on the WTA website at midnight. No fanfare, no press release, just a quiet shift in the numbers that would send ripples through the tennis world. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old from Quezon City who had once been advised to withdraw from Birmingham over fitness concerns, had done it again. World number 28, a career high that shattered every Philippine tennis record and placed her firmly among the global elite. But here's what made this milestone truly remarkable. She climbed to number 28 without playing a single tournament that week. How does a player break records while resting? And why was the tennis establishment suddenly scrambling to recalculate its seeding charts? June 15, 2026. WTA headquarters. Ranking release. The rankings updated at midnight, and Eala's team wasn't expecting anything dramatic. She had lost in the round of 16 at the HSBC Championships at Queen's Club to her close friend Iva Jovic, 6-2, 6-2, just days earlier. No points gained, no victory to celebrate. But when her agent refreshed the page, the number on the screen didn't add up. World number 28. Eala had climbed 5 spots, from 33 to a career-high 28, without playing a single match. How was this possible? The answer lay in the mathematics of the WTA ranking system. Points from previous tournaments had begun falling off other players' totals. Hailey Baptiste, ranked number 30, was out for the rest of the season with an injury, her points frozen, her position effectively vacated. Other players ahead of Eala had failed to defend their results from the previous year. The math had quietly worked in her favor. The Eala effect had followed her even onto the ranking sheet. It's not luck, one tennis analyst noted. It's consistency. Eala has been steadily banking points while the players around her have been inconsistent. The rankings don't care about headlines, they care about results. And Eala's results have been undeniable. The numbers told the story. Her Birmingham Open title had added 76 points to her total. Her win over Jiang Shuai at Queen's Club had added another 30. And while the loss to Jovic had ended her winning streak, the points she'd banked over the past 52 weeks were finally paying dividends. World number 28. No Filipino tennis player, male or female, had ever been ranked this high. The milestone stood as proof of everything she'd overcome. The WTA's fitness advisory before Birmingham, the $50,000 fine, the entry fees, the snubs for Eastbourne and Berlin, the exclusion from the elite player development camp. None of it had stopped her. The ranking now reflected what her fans had known all along. Alex Eala belonged among the world's best. June 15, 2026. WTA headquarters. Ranking algorithm. The numbers don't lie. And for Alex Eala, the numbers had finally aligned. World number 28, a career high that placed her inside the top 30 for the first time in her career. The climb had been years in the making, from her junior Grand Slam titles, to her breakthrough Miami Open semifinal run in 2025, to her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, to her grass court triumph at Birmingham. But here's what made this climb extraordinary. She didn't play a single match to get there. Her loss to Jovic in the round of 16 at Queen's Club, a 6-2, 6-2 defeat to her close friend and the world number 19, had ended her 6-match winning streak on grass. The win over Jiang Shuai in the previous round had added 30 points to her total, but that had already been factored into her previous ranking. So how did she jump 5 spots without setting foot on a court? The answer was the rolling 52-week system at the heart of WTA rankings, a complex algorithm where points fall off a player's total exactly 1 year after they were earned. Some players ahead of Eala had failed to defend their results. Others had watched older points expire. And one key player had vacated her position entirely. Hailey Baptiste, the American ranked number 30, was out for the rest of the season with an injury. Her points were frozen, but her spot in the rankings had effectively opened up, allowing the players just below her to move up. The math worked in Eala's favor. But was it luck, or was it destiny? It's not luck, the analyst repeated. It's consistency. Eala has been steadily accumulating points while the players around her have been inconsistent. The rankings don't care about headlines, they care about results. And Eala's results have been undeniable. The numbers told the story. Her Birmingham Open title, 76 crucial points. Her win over Jiang Shuai at Queen's Club another 30. And while the loss to Jovic had ended her streak, the points banked over the past year were now paying off. The Eala effect had followed her even onto the ranking sheet. She's the biggest draw in women's tennis right now, Steve Johnson had said on the Nothing Major podcast. Bigger than Coco Gauff. Bigger than Aryna Sabalenka. Now the rankings were beginning to reflect what her fans had known all along. London, England. June 10, 2026. Wimbledon seeding calculations. The numbers on the screen told a story that, just weeks earlier, had seemed impossible. Alex Eala's climb to world number 28 had come without playing a single match that week, a quirk of the WTA's rolling 52-week ranking system. But the real opportunity wasn't the ranking itself. It was what the ranking represented, a Wimbledon seed. The All-England Club seeding cutoff is June 22nd, just days away. The top 32 players in the world at that moment receive protected placement in the draw, avoiding the top seeds until at least the third round. For a player who has never won a Grand Slam match, a seed would be transformative. But the math was delicate. Eala sat on 1,416 ranking points after her Birmingham Open victory. The 76 points from that title had pushed her past several rivals. But lurking on the calendar was a threat. The 163 points from her runner-up finish at the Eastbourne Open in 2025 were set to expire on June 22nd, the very day of the seeding cutoff. Losing those points would drop her to roughly 1,253, a number that would likely push her back outside the top 32. She needed a cushion. Then came the news from Roland Garros. Hailey Baptiste, the American who had soared to a career-high ranking of number 25 this season after stunning world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka in Madrid, had suffered a devastating knee injury in the second round of the French Open. The 24-year-old had landed awkwardly on a forehand, collapsed to the court clutching her left knee, and was wheeled off in a wheelchair. This is a new but somewhat familiar challenge, probably one of the hardest chapters of my life, Baptiste wrote on Instagram. Her season was over, and her spot at number 26 had effectively opened up, allowing the players just below her to move up. The Eala effect had followed her even onto the ranking sheet. Eala now sat just 4 spots outside the seeded positions, with Baptiste's place effectively vacated. The magic number was 32, and Eala was at 28. But the Eastbourne points still loomed. The HSBC Championships at Queen's Club had offered a chance to build that cushion. A quarter-final finish would have added 108 points, enough to offset the Eastbourne drop and lock in her seeding. But Jovic had ended that run, defeating Eala 6-2, 6-2 in the round of 16. The 60 points from that tournament still helped, bringing her total to 1,422. But it wasn't enough. Berlin was her next chance. The WTA 500 Berlin Open, running from June 15th to 21st, offered a final opportunity to bank points before the Wimbledon cutoff. The tournament featured a stacked draw, Sabalenka, Rybakina, Gauff, and Pegula, but Eala had only earned a spot in qualifying. A deep run in Berlin could add anywhere from 108 points for a quarterfinal to 500 points for a title. Any result that pushed her past 1,300 points would likely secure her seeding. Eala's coach, Jan Bosch, remained cautious but optimistic. We need to manage the next 2 weeks carefully. The ranking is within reach, but we cannot force it. The points will come from playing good tennis, not from chasing numbers. For Eala, the message was clear. Control what you can control. The ranking would follow. From cracked courts in Quezon City to the brink of a Wimbledon seed, the math had finally aligned. Berlin, Germany. June 15th to 21st, Lawn Tennis Tournai Club, Rot-Weiss, Berlin. The draw for the Berlin Tennis Open had been released, and the timing could not have been more perfect. The WTA 500 tournament, one of the premier grass court events of the season, featured a stacked lineup. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, and Jessica Pegula headlined the main draw. But Eala wasn't in the main draw. She was in qualifying. Qualifying began on June 13th. The main draw started on June 15th, with the tournament running through June 21st, one day before the Wimbledon seeding cutoff. The math was simple. A deep run in Berlin could add anywhere from 108 points for a quarterfinal to 500 for a title. Any result pushing her past 1,300 points before June 22nd would likely secure her seed. But the path was treacherous. The qualifying draw was unforgiving. Only 8 players would advance to the main draw out of dozens of competitors, and those who survived qualifying would be thrown straight into a field stacked with the world's best. Coach Bosch stayed focused on the present. "We cannot look past qualifying," he told a reporter. "The points will come from playing good tennis, not from chasing numbers." The points on offer in Berlin were generous for anyone who advanced deep. A champion would earn 500 points, a finalist 325, a semi-finalist 195. Even a quarter-finalist would take home 108. For Eala, sitting on 1,422 points after her Queen's Club run, a quarter-final finish would bring her to roughly 1,530 points, comfortably above the seeding threshold. But the Eastbourne points still loomed. The 163 points from her 2025 runner-up finish at Eastbourne were set to expire on June 22nd, the very day of the cutoff. Losing them would drop her to roughly 1,259 points, likely pushing her back outside the top 32. She needed a cushion, and Berlin offered the chance to build one. A semi-final run, 195 points, would bring her to roughly 1,617 before the Eastbourne deduction, still above 1,300 after it. A final, 325 points, would push her to roughly 1,747. A title, 500 points, would carry her to roughly 1,922. But first, she had to qualify. The Berlin qualifying draw was loaded with dangerous opponents, grass court veterans, hungry young prospects chasing breakthrough wins, and former top 20 players fighting their way back from injury. Eala's first qualifying match was against an opponent yet to be determined. The draw would be confirmed on June 12th or 13th. The opportunity was there. Now it had to be earned. Manila, Philippines. June 2026. The road to Wimbledon. The ranking is official. World number 28. A career high that shatters every Philippine tennis record and places Alex Eala firmly among the global elite. But the ranking isn't the destination. It's a milestone on a much longer journey. The grass season rolls on. Berlin beckons. Bad Homburg awaits. And then Wimbledon. The Grand Slam Eala has dreamed of since she first picked up a racket looms on the horizon. The seeding cutoff is June 22nd. The Eastbourne points expire that same day. The math is delicate, but the opportunity is real. "She's the biggest draw in women's tennis right now," Steve Johnson said on the Nothing Major podcast. "Bigger than Coco Gauff. Bigger than Aryna Sabalenka." Now the rankings are finally catching up to what her fans have known all along. From cracked courts in Quezon City to world number 28, Alex Eala's journey has defied every expectation. The WTA advised her to withdraw from Birmingham. She signed a waiver and won. They fined her $50,000, she paid it and moved on. They overlooked her for Eastbourne and Berlin's main draw. She kept training, kept fighting, kept winning. Now she stands on the brink of history. A Wimbledon seed. A chance to compete on the sport's biggest stage with protected placement in the draw. A chance to prove that a champion from a developing tennis nation can rise to the top. The grass season continues. The next match is always the most important one. But whatever happens in Berlin, whatever happens at Wimbledon, Alex Eala has already done what no Filipino tennis player has ever done before. She has climbed higher than anyone before her. She has inspired a generation. She has shown the world that champions can come from anywhere. And the next milestone is already waiting. Shocking. Alex Eala breaks more records and climbs to world number 28. The tennis world is stunned. The 21-year-old Filipina has reached a career-high ranking of world number 28, the highest ever achieved by a Filipino tennis player, male or female. And the climb came without playing a single match that week. Hailey Baptiste's season-ending injury, combined with Eala's relentless consistency, allowed her to leap 5 spots in a single update. Now the Wimbledon seeding cutoff looms on June 22nd. The 163 points from her Eastbourne final last year are set to expire that same day, But a strong run at the WTA 500 Berlin Open could secure her a coveted seed at the All England Club. From cracked courts in Quezon City to world number 28, Alex Eala's journey has defied every expectation. The WTA told her to withdraw from Birmingham. She signed a waiver and won. They fined her $50,000. She paid it and moved on. Now, Wimbledon awaits. Do you think Alex Eala will secure a Wimbledon seed? And how far can she go at the All England Club?